A moment of silence. Listen to that. He wants to kill my children. That's not just a warning. It's a terrified plea from a man the world calls a saint. And he's facing a demon that has come back to collect on a debt that's 18 years old. This isn't a threat, it's a promise. Now, to the world, this man, Father Peter Williams, is a living saint. But behind closed doors, for 18 long years, he's been haunted by what he calls a grievous fault. A sin so deep, so profound, he's convinced that even God himself hasn't forgiven him for it. So, to really get a grip on the horror he's facing now, we have to go back, way back to the beginning. We're talking 18 years ago. Picture this, a younger, much more ambitious Father Peter. He goes against his mentor, a man named Father Michael, and decides to perform an exorcism he was absolutely not ready for. Michael gave him this chilling warning. He said, if the devil finds a single crack in you, he will reach the depth of your soul. But Peter, he was so sure of himself. He insisted he was free of sin. Oh, but he was so wrong. And this is where it all went wrong. That very first exorcism, Peter confronts this demon, Balban, inside a woman named Magali. He does what you'd expect, commands it to leave in the name of Christ. But Balban, this demon, doesn't fight with brute force. No, it seduces, it whispers, I'll leave this body when you come in it. You've always desired me, Father. And just like that, it found the crack, that one tiny flicker of lust. Balban used it to get inside Peter himself, possessing the priest and forcing him to commit an act that was truly unforgivably terrible. And for 18 years, Peter has carried this secret. He never confessed it. He even tells a friend, God hasn't forgiven me and I haven't forgiven myself. So while the entire world is out there celebrating his miracles, this one secret has just been festering inside him, just eating away at his soul. Okay, so fast forward 18 years. A call comes in. It's from a prison. There's an inmate showing all the signs of a violent possession. And get this, she is specifically asked for Father Peter. The past isn't just knocking on the door, it's about to break it down.
The official report, well, it's exactly what you'd expect. Clinical, dry. It says symptoms of epilepsy, hysteria, schizophrenia. But the moment Peter arrives, the thing inside this young woman, Esperanza, it looks right at him. And it speaks with this chilling familiarity. It says, we already know each other, Father, very well.
And in that moment, he knows it's Balban. It's back. And the possessed girl, Esperanza, she's the child born from his sin with Magali all those years ago. Think about that. His past hasn't just come back to haunt him. It's literally staring him in the face, embodied in the suffering of a daughter he never even knew existed. So now Peter is forced to finally confront the consequences of his actions. And he knows deep down he can't do this by himself. He goes back to his old mentor, Father Michael, the man he defied all those years ago. And why him? Because Michael is considered the world's greatest exorcist. He's the only person who has ever actually defeated Balban. But Father Michael comes with a very grave warning. He explains that Balban is a master of psychological warfare. This isn't your typical monster. It's a demon of pure deceit. It plays on your deepest fears, it exists to destroy your faith, and it makes you believe it's all-powerful. And then Michael lays down the single most important rule. Never make a deal with it. If you do, he will always win. And you have to understand, that warning, it comes from a dark place. Because Michael confesses this terrifying truth about his own famous victory over Balban. He broke his own rule. Years ago, to save a child, he made a deal. He sold his soul. So now, the world's greatest exorcist is powerless. Just a man waiting for his ticket to be punched, waiting to burn in hell. So the exorcism begins, and the setting is this claustrophobic, living hell of a prison. But Balban's power, it's not just contained to one person. It spreads like a disease, a contagion, inciting the other inmates to riot. The whole prison just descends into absolute chaos. It becomes this visceral, bloody battleground between the sacred and the profane. And as the priests fight on, it almost seems like they might win this thing. You can feel the tide turning. But just as Balban starts to weaken, it pulls out its final card, its last soul-shattering gambit. It presents Father Peter with an absolutely impossible ultimatum. So what's the choice? It's horrifyingly simple. Balban tells Peter, go ahead, cast me out. But if you do, I will take the soul of every single innocent child in your orphanage straight to hell with me. So now Peter has to choose, his daughter or the children he's sworn his life to God to protect. But wait, there's a third option, a twisted way to save everyone. You see, Balban's true price, it isn't Peter's soul. No, it's much worse. It's his faith. The demon's demand is as simple as it is horrific. Perform a reverse exorcism on himself, willingly, consciously cast God out of his own body, become an empty vessel. And to save them all, his daughter, the children at the orphanage, everyone. Father Peter agrees. With just one word, deal, the living saint seals his own damnation. He chooses to sacrifice God himself just to save the innocent. And what happens next? The aftermath of this unholy bargain is immediate, and it's terrifyingly ironic. At the exact moment Peter renounces God, 112 sick children back at his orphanage are miraculously cured. Every single one of them. The world thinks it's witnessing an unprecedented act of divine intervention, a miracle. So, in the eyes of the public, in the eyes of the church, Father Peter has just performed the ultimate miracle. He's hailed as a true living saint. He gets invited to the Vatican, he's celebrated as a savior. He managed to save everyone. Except, of course, for himself. And all of this leaves us with one final chilling question, doesn't it? Is a man who sacrifices God to save humanity the ultimate saint or the ultimate sinner? He's now this hollow man walking the earth, performing miracles, but his power, it comes from a pact with pure evil. So what does that mean for faith itself, when the greatest act of good requires the greatest act of heresy?